Yep, there we go. Sorry about that. So we are from the McKinney Public Library in McKinney, Texas. And this is our second conference, which is pretty cool. So we're happy to be presenting this time on digital cards for libraries. So we'll get into it. We launched this in the beginning of January 6th, 2023. And it was kind of like a New Year's party for us in a sense, like, hey, let's roll this out. And we're like, guess what you get, library? There's a new way to get your library card. We had done stuff ahead of time to prep this. So we'll talk about that as well. But it was a great way for us to ring in the new year for our patrons. So we're just going to go over the background, some outline stuff, advantages. We also use Aspen, which is pretty close with Koha. They're kind of a dynamic duo, you would say. Yeah, so we're just going to briefly explain the why and the how and the what. So it's been a personal goal of mine since about 2017 to make digital cards to be the main form of access to the library. I've been at different places where I've tried to do this, but it was just slow going. But with smartphones becoming at a saturation point that we're at with QR codes, everyone's scanning those now. Everyone's pretty much carrying a smartphone at this point. It felt like a good enough time to do it. So Spencer Smith, the director at Meeting about the library, was fully on board. This is like, let's do it, let's go for it. And I was like, that's all I need. I was like, let's do this. So the system team, we kind of took that and started to run with it. We kind of just kept asking ourselves, how do we make this change and modify a mass group's behavior? Because that's what we're doing, right? It's like a social experiment in a sense, because we're saying you're used to this plastic thing you carry around that you go and use at the library, or you're so used to this plastic thing you go to the grocery store and you scan it there. We're just bringing it to your phone that you will use going forward. And so we're kind of looking at that. And there's a couple of questions there. People really going to use it. What we have the goal to make a library, as I mentioned before, and then using Koha and Aspen to really make this happen. That's one of the key things was coming into it where Koha has this support backbone to help this become a reality. So that was good, and we also made it easy for us to get the digital cards in people's hands without having to go to kind of another third-party vendor or thing like that. So that was really good. So these are this is the outline here. So I kind of listed some of the staff issues, some of the patron things, the things we're kind of looking towards on the future, which this hasn't been updated, but some of these have already been worked on and released in the 2309 for LEDA. So which was nice, which just rolled out, I think, two or 3 weeks ago. So the staff will have to come to see that it will get physical cards 2998 prefix, and then we went to replacement cards would be going to 499, which is our digital card. So you have to understand the two structures going forward to see what they're actually using. And that's just showing because we have a sub-registration system where we make the patron go to either the online Aspen catalog to make a digital card, which we then transfer into a permanent patron. We also have it on our catalog OPACs, and that's the majority of most people are doing this sign up through our sub-registration on the OPACs, which is nice because we can kind of walk them through if they run into something. But for the most part, they just use the touchscreen, fill it in, boom, come back to us and say, hey, let's see your ID, and we're good to go. And we change the patron code. If not, they just wanted the digital card and they didn't want to access books or anything, check out books or anything, they're pretty much done at that point. And we have made it so much self-service that a lot of them can just do it on their own, just go walk off and do whatever else, and just come back up when they're ready to check out. And we would see that they're blocked and then just change the patron code. There's a couple different ways that they can get this done. So pretty good. So the main thing that we ran into was it kind of becomes a sales pitch at a point, because you're asking the patron, they come up, their mindset is cool. I'm gonna walk up here, I'm gonna be like, hey, I want a library card. And you're like, well, we only do digital cards here. And they're like, what does that mean? It's like, well, let me walk you over to the sub-registration catalog. Do you have your driver's license? Is it current in Texas? Is that current address on there? Yes, yes. Cool. Do you have a smartphone? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And we kind of walk them over there, start to do the process. And There hasn't been a lot of pushback, but there has, people are used to getting that piece of plastic and getting some type of physical transaction. So we kind of have to really kind of gauge their expectation and kind of set that and be like, this is how we're going forward. So we can use different language like sustainability, you carry this technology with you, you won't ever lose it again. That becomes a literature key point in this episode, because when I came to McKinney, as other libraries that I've been at, you start to see the repetition of the same people coming in every 2 months. I lost my car, can't get a new one. I lost my key tag, can't get a new one. You're like, okay, this, and we can track, you can start to see some of the former barcodes that they used. And you're just like, okay, it's got a lot of parts, like we keep having to do this. And that kind of just was in my head, like, we need to push to make digital copies, but available to do this. So we did that, and Aspen Leader was huge in that development, because we're able to say, hey, it's already in this app that we get for free with this other platform that we're not really utilizing at this point, where you can search inside that catalog, you can put things on hold, you can see your account, you can do all these things, which is great. And I wanted to level that app more, because Aspen's great if you want to use the browser, right? You can log in from any web and log into your account. You can pull up your digital card there. You can look at your holds there. You can do all of that. That's great, but try to explain that to a patron. Hey, you want to log in your browser? You want to log in with your credentials, your card number, or your username? Okay, cool. They do it. They don't sync to iCloud keychain. They don't sync to Google keychains, and then they come back and they're like, what was it again? I don't know what that stuff was. Okay, all right. Or they have a million tabs open. Like how many tabs do we keep on our phone open in these different browsers? So this kind of consolidates their mindset to be like, okay, I have one app to which has the card, which has the other things that do. It also helped to, on a side note, like with notices, because we do only email, we don't, and we do text for the most part, but majority email only. So people will wait for that to come in to get that email, like, oh, my hold's here, or my hold's pending. But now we can go to that and see all of that, and it's broken out pretty nicely for them to view. So that works out really well. One thing I would like to say is in the integration, I don't think there's a dev number there yet. I don't know if anyone's put in there, but I will be putting that in there to have localized either Apple or Google cards, because that would be nice. Because some people don't actually want to get into the app. Some do because they want to search something or see their holds and then pull a card up. Whereas if it was localized, it'd be a faster transaction for the patron to scan and walk away and go, instead of having to connect to the server, pull down information each time. Even though it's cached, still there is some lag that's happened sometimes with that splash screen. So we're looking at that. We do have the bug which IPO helped with, which is great. I think Lucas is on that too, for the API to connect with Koha. Because when we were doing this project and we started, messing with the welcome letters and all of that kind of stuff, internally at Koha, it's great. We can push it out. It goes out automatically when it's self-registered. But when we went to Aspen, that was one thing I didn't really pay attention to. And I was like, oh yeah, it's working, it's fine. And then we started rolling it out, and I was like, and it's like, hey, are people getting the welcome email when they go to Aspen? I was like, I think so. And then he was like, I don't think so. I was like, I think you're right. So we kind of had to do a workaround process where we actually had a report that collects all of the self-registration from Aspen or basically new cards, and we check against it and then push it out. Even it's manually with a button inside Koha. So they get it a day later. And then they'll get that email with all of the information inside. Or if the staff does it on the Koha side, they get it automatically. That's kind of one of the workarounds we have to do for now. Because people won't get that. And they also want that barcode number, so they need that to log in right away. And we usually have that on our iPads. We do mobile search. We don't have any staff computers out on the desk right now. So when a patron is done, we can actually select, here's your information, here's the card, here's the barcode number, all that kind of stuff. Log them in and they're on their way. Or we can send an email manually at that point in time, and they can also just look at their email later and log into the app and do that kind of stuff. And we have little flyers at the tables, which promote Aspen Lita, and then on the back kind of give them instructions where they can write down stuff and do all of that, which is great. And like I said, these ones that have already been done, they're already pushed out. we're really excited about this one and the password reset because we have patrons. When the app auto updates, sometimes it logs them out. A lot of them don't sometimes keep that email, or that email is buried, that welcome email is buried in their email, so they can't find it. And this is a better way on the splash screen that they can actually get the password or get their barcode sent to them, either text or email. I guess this uses Twilio. So back to work on that. But so we'll go on to the next one. And these are kind of the advantages that, in my mind, I saw going to. It reduces our plastic waste and us purchasing bulk cards that will sit around. It also provides the technology-based aspect as well, which people like. And it just makes registration steps a lot easier. Because if they are just getting a new card, we can just pull up their account, say it auto generates a new number that it does randomized, and then boom, they're done. Send a welcome email out. Here's your new card number, or give it to them right there. Lead also has the new barcode scanning option in the user splash screen and then for ICNs if you're searching. So what we've done with that now is if they're actually in the building with us, we just with the iPad over, they scan it, we'll put their password in there on their way. They're not typing it out, they're not looking at another screen, anything like that, they're just on their way. So we kind of utilize that as well, which has been a lot faster because, you know, if you get older people that are like, I'm not trying to type that in, you know, cool, scan it. They're like, all right, awesome. And they're on their way. Trust me, I've had a 9-year-old do this. And they're like, this is great. Because they're like, I have a bunch of apps that are in my phone that I have to use. So here we go. So it works out really well. And the steps are very minimal for the user. And again, I just go back to the whole browser mentality versus, you know, bookmarking, do all those things, which that becomes more of a work process, I think, than using that. And that was just what that I saw. So I will let Kelly take over this part because she did a lot of cool magic on it.
All right, so what you're seeing on the left side here, that's the Aspen self-registration form. So that's just set up on the back end of Aspen in the primary configuration. It's just a super easy, intuitive form that they can go through and fill out. So it's going to include their password that they're going to need later to log in as well. At the end of that process, that's going to kick it to Koha, and we're going to see that on the staff side right away. They'll also get this confirmation page. So there's two little cards up there. They're not going to both show up. This is what we look like on the staff end. So in desktop mode, when they're doing it in-house, they'll get the QR code at the end. So they can scan that, download the app, get started with whatever it spits out for their 4988 barcode, and then the password that they put in the form. And then mobile, if they're doing it at home on their own phone or whatever, that turns into a button. So either way, that's going to take them to the App Store, either Android or iOS, doesn't matter. We got it set up for both. And so they can start the download process right then and there. And then they'll come see us at the staff desk and we'll get them set up. We'll let them know that you're gonna, if you want physical items to come see us right away, if you want using digital items, then you're good to go for about a month or so until we need to address everything. So they'll come see us and we'll do that part on our end. And then we also let them know that they're going to get a welcome email, which you mentioned before. Right now we're sending out manually day by day. Eventually we'll get that automated. Or whenever they come see us, if they're in the library already, we can shoot that to them right away and let them know you'll see it in a couple minutes. So that's been working pretty well for us so far. Okay, and then this is the welcome email itself. So this is set up on the Koha side in the notices. We had a couple of systems team members make some really awesome templates for these notices, and I kind of piggybacked on their work and did a welcome email for the card. So similar little digital card up there with their auto-generated barcode number. This is kind of a backup method. If they don't want to do the app, they absolutely refuse to put another app on their phone, or if it's taking time to download and they want to check out right now, they can get into the browser version of Aspen and log in then in there. We use it on our self-checkouts. They also get a couple other features included in this. So they'll see that they can subscribe to our newsletter. They'll see our other app here, which is Cloud Library for digital asset stuff. A couple other things that this screenshot doesn't show, like how to book a study space or how to view our events and register for those. And then some other little nitty-gritty policy stuff is included in there. And it's really helped our staff kind of alleviate the whole spiel when they set up cards, letting them know, here's the basics, but you're going to get that welcome email for food services. So it's been awesome. I'd like for this to be automated. All right.
Yeah, she did great work on this. It definitely helps to point people to our resources without having to go into the most different things and tell them about cloud library. You can do this with our databases, you know, it's all listed there. You can just look your study rooms here, which has been very, very helpful. So this is how we kind of did the staff training, was we had unofficial kind of talks like, this is what we're going to, we're going to do this app, you know, how does everyone kind of feel about this? Yeah, not, so kind of just put it forward on, kind of had to do the whole Jason dictatorship in a sense, and be like, you know, these are some rules we're going to kind of go with, and, you know, help nudge this along, because I was kind of at that point, like, this is where we're going, let's go with this. And we'll just see, because it's like, it's something like, it's an app that we hadn't, we weren't really utilizing, so it's like, we didn't know, to me, in my head, I was like, oh, this makes sense, but I knew others were like, wow, you know, or, you know, people want this with cards, all these things. But it's like, well, we don't know what they really want, or what they really need, or what they really adapt to unless we try this. So that was really great to get support from Spencer and the administration before with this, so that was really cool. And then we kind of just put out a Teams post with the instructions on this is what's happening, this is what's launching. Don't go run and panic or hop. We can do this. So that was pretty good. And then again, like you just kind of work on your sales pitch, like, you know, it becomes a game in a sense. Like if I see you, I kind of size you up, right? You can kind of mentally see like, okay, this person might have a little issue with this, but you can be like, hey, you know, you don't ever have to lose this anymore. And I think that's a real key point, because a lot of people are always losing these cards and you're just cycling over and over, and the redundancy kind of just gets at you a little bit. So you kind of have that. But after about 2 months, it was pretty easy to see patrons wanted it. You can see them going up to the self-checkouts, pulling out their phone, scanning, going along. Anyone that has an older card, they still will work. We're not going to be like, hey, we see an older card, we need to switch over to this. We're not doing that. This is only for the process that you're creating a new card, where you have to renew your card, and you don't want to lose the physical card, or you've lost the physical card. Then we want you to transition to the app. So if you love using a card, you're going to hold on to that. You have the original issue McKinney public library card from 1902 or something. Yeah, keep using it. It doesn't bother you. You can continue on with it. So one thing we also like is that Aspen is continuing to update almost monthly, which is great. And just like Koha, they listen to everything you want to do, and they put it in their planning forms and all that kind of stuff, and push it up, which is excellent. So I really love Koha and Aspen and how they work together, especially with Firewater support. Really great. They definitely push up a lot. So and really listen to us as members and as a community, they listen to us, which is great. Which I think is wonderful. And they're just trying to streamline the process for us, which is really good. So you're probably going to tell this, right? Like parents, that's cool. They'll download an app, they'll do that thing. What about kids, right? What are kids doing? Kids want something in their hand, but parents want to give their kids something. On my stance, I'm a little mean. I'm like, hey, guess what? We have linked accounts now. You can actually link all these barcodes here. You won't lose your card or their card, and you can't find it. And you can also keep track of their accounts through the app as well, which turned out to be really good. But we do run into that where people do want a physical card. And I leave that up to the discretion of the librarian. I personally just fight it and go, hey, just kind of lay out these bullet points for them and see if they kind of fall into that gap. And like, okay, I'll do it. If not, we do use the QR code generator in co-op in the new feature. You can use that and create a print a barcode, do that kind of stuff. We're going to save for them, you know, and say, hey, this is you have to use it. If you lose it, we'll be right back at square one again. We'll go through this conversation again until it kind of hits, I guess. You know, we get that aha moment, like, oh, wow, he was really trying to help me to check it. So I'm like, oh, like, you know, human nature, I guess we're kind of differences. So, this is some stats that we have since I only did from January to July this year. So we have 2 branches. We have the John G. Day branch, and we have our other branch for in Town Hall. 2 different clientele as well. So there's things going on. But you can see that this is only for newly created patron cards. This is not for you know, renewed cards or any of that kind of stuff. Just overall breakdown of new created cards. Because we're using the 2 different barcodes, we can quickly see which ones are being issued older 2998 cards, and which ones are using 1998 cards. So you can kind of see that it is a huge gap that we have. We have 5,395 digital cards that have been created in that span. That's a lot to have people putting on their phones, for have people to follow through with. Obviously, we still have that lower amount of the physical cards. We're hoping that will keep decreasing as we go. And again, that's also most of the time that's going to be Gmail cards, which we're trying to just roll with that process as it goes. Because it started as a pilot and it's kind of become a thing. And I feel like it's working. I mean, I've probably got other people throwing knives in my back, but it's okay. Everyone's really great at McKinney, and they really embrace it, honestly. It's really hard to get a whole staff to unify to push out new things, but at McKinney, I feel like we do so much new innovative stuff and we try to always be going forward with things that they're just used to it. It's like, let's swirl on to the next thing. So we're just kind of always asking ourselves in the beginning, how does this help the patron? I love our staff, and in my mindset, when I look at something we're trying to implement, something we're trying to do new, I always look at it as the patron side first. I want it to be so easy with the patron. I want it to be so streamlined with the patron. As a staff member, I'm not really worried about that. You get paid, we pay you to learn these things. Like that's how I feel about it. We'll try to make it as easy as we can for each staff, but you are getting paid to learn these things. So my priority is the patron. However, it becomes seamless for them, the better it is for them. The better experience they're gonna have, the better, the more times they want to come back, go to this branch or go to that branch and realize it doesn't change between the branches.
Quick comment, our online folks are saying if you could stay by the microphone, that would be helpful.
Sorry, kind of wander around. That's how I do my thought processes. I just, in my office, there's a trail, we go back and forth. Probably have to get the carpet change.
And somebody wanted to know online, what app are you using? They couldn't catch that.
We're using Daghita.
Okay.
So we're using that. And one thing I really like about our team, the system team in general, we have the attitude of not if, but when. When will we put this in? We can think about it, we can do all that stuff, but we will get it done. We will push for it because we really see the value in it and what we want to do. So I really appreciate that. And Kellie and all the rest of the team in systems. So because they're always doing something so creative. You can just throw something on the wall and be like, I have a marker board in my office, and I always write stuff that we're planning and what we want to do. And Tamara, she's on the system, and she's like, oh no, he's writing on the whiteboard again. Look out, in trouble. So I was like, no, it'll be easy this time. I swear, it's gonna be easy. It's not, but yeah, that's kind of what I got for that. But yeah, if you don't have the Daghita app, you should probably download it, or maybe ask your library to turn on if you can.
Have you guys done sort of a video tutorial or just the instructional flyer?
We just have done the instructional flyer, mostly in-house. We have not done anything. Maybe that's something we should probably do. As
Visual.
yeah, no, it's a good idea, especially to link up, in like the help section and stuff like that on our site. That would be good.
Thanks for the presentation. I'm sorry I missed it, I came late. But what I want to, I will watch the video anyway, but the question is, we have a student ID card software, which has a barcode and some student information and the magnetic strip, which we thought of using it for card access control system, restricted access, that's what. And then our circulation desk, our staff use a barcode reader or something to read the barcode straight into a book without entering the student ID or whatever. It's already in place. But what I missed from your presentation, because I came late, are you suggesting to come up with a new digital ID in parallel to the student ID that the institution may have already? Or what is that? I didn't get that.
So we actually don't do student IDs. We're a public library, so we kind of use.
Sorry,
yeah.
Sorry, I have my own.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, I got it.
No worries.
I got it.
So we only have the 14-digit barcode number that we use.
I missed the point that you know, here, most of you are from the libraries rather than academic universities, yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead.
David, your name.
Yeah, I still have to go to Prosper, I live in Salina, but I've never made my way down.
So the two different sets of numbers that you assign, is that mainly just for y'all behind the scenes to know kind of what's happening as opposed to? I mean, is it more or less just for identification and classification, or are y'all using that to drive something else?
Well, 2 points. Yes, for one, that it is the different classifications, but we also had a digital card set up ahead of time when you self-registered. So we kind of just piggybacked that and said, hey, we'll just use that number to now be the barcode number instead of having to change it. Because when they would do that, you would scan the card and change it to 988. Well, now we don't have to do that anymore. So we kind of just kept going with the 4988 just to be easier that way. And plus, because it is created randomly in Koha, we don't have to worry about trying to type in numbers or do anything else different. So it kind of just worked out that way for us.
Question back here.
That was my question.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been great. Good project that we're doing. So yeah. We're gonna work on some other stuff and see what happens in the future, but
Actually, didn't think of the question. So I don't know how well this would integrate with your self-checkouts, but we've been looking at our ID cards. Have you considered, or has there been consideration of integration of RFID either into the app or using some RFID for self-checkouts or anything like that?
we have talked about RFID for self-checkouts. It just doesn't work right now for us. So we are doing that, but I know in talks that Lita is talking about possibly RFID in the future. So that would be something maybe we could spin into what we're doing, but currently no, we don't have that option. We would like to, because we do use RFID heavily at our library. So yeah, that would be nice. Or NFC, some type of way to get that to go. Yeah. But yeah, if you're ever in Texas, come hang out in the library. We won't have barbecue, but we'll have books for you.